Welcome you all here today and thank each and every one of you for coming here to demonstrate your support for Ohio agriculture and Ohio horse racing. And I'd particularly like to thank Lisa Schwartz, who's the one who really made this event happen. And she had a lot of help from other people, and Lisa has asked me to remind you that if you have letters, and I hope you do, for your state representatives and state senators, to deliver them to the table over to your right. As we all know in Ohio, whenever you schedule an outdoor event, you run the risk of inclement weather. Well, today the sun is certainly shining on us, and I think that's a good omen. I know that many of you got up early and traveled long distances because of your commitment to come to the cause here today. But getting up early and traveling long distance are everyday things for those who work in Ohio's agricultural community. You do it because it's more than just a job. It's your passion, it's your livelihood, and you are part of a proud Ohio tradition. And now you're fighting to keep this tradition, this part of Ohio's heritage, alive. Horse racing has long been a vital part of the Ohio agricultural economy. Horses are bred in all parts of the state. Horse owners hire employees, they pay taxes, they buy hay, straw, and grain. Horse owners use veterinary services, they use farriers, they buy trucks and trailers, and they buy an awful lot of gas to put in those trucks. Now the future of Ohio horse racing and Ohio agriculture is being threatened because Ohio has fallen behind other states in providing support for this part of our heritage. For example, our neighboring states of Indiana and Pennsylvania took steps several years ago to provide support for horse racing and agriculture by putting alternative gaming at tracks in those states. Now Ohio horsemen have had to relocate to some of those states simply to make a living. And we must stop that exodus and keep those jobs in Ohio. Last year I interviewed a horse owner, a man who had grown up in Indianapolis and fallen in love with Indiana harness racing and became an owner about 30 years ago. But at that time, Indiana had very little to offer harness horse owners, and he moved to Ohio. As he told me, he was tired of fighting the trucks on I-70 between Indianapolis and Columbus, and he now lives in suburban Columbus. It's ironic that this man now has to race many of his horses in Indiana, because that state provides far better racing opportunities than Ohio. As a result, the equine segment of Indiana's agricultural economy is booming with new farms, new stallions, new training facilities, new owners involved. All of that because Indiana legislators had the foresight to support agriculture and tracks. Today we have a lineup of speakers that will tell you why they support Ohio agriculture and racing, but obviously there are other points of view on this issue. Some in the media have tried to demonize the idea of slots at racetracks and say it will just give money to a bunch of filthy rich track owners. Now let me see a show of hands out there. Are there any filthy rich track owners out there? I don't see any filthy rich track owners. What I see is a lot of hardworking Ohioans, men and women, willing to preserve Ohio agriculture and Ohio horse racing, two parts of our heritage in the Buckeye State. Lives outside of Cincinnati, and maybe 3 or 4 times a year she'll go to Indiana to play the slot machines and have a little fun. But I know darn well that she would rather play the slot machines in Ohio at Lebanon Raceway or River Downs than to go to Indiana. Let me say one more thing. When Governor Ed Rendell campaigned hard for slots in Pennsylvania, he promised residents of Pennsylvania a reduction in their property taxes, and he delivered. Pennsylvania residents now enjoy lower property taxes because of actions that the Pennsylvania legislature took in 2004. And Governor Rendell was re-elected, and after he supported slots, and Pennsylvania residents are obviously happy with having slots at the tracks and lower property taxes. And now it's my honor to introduce you to Sam Zonak, who has been with the Ohio State Racing Commission for 20 years and now serves as its executive director. Sam?
Good morning, and thank everyone for coming. The industry needs to come together, and you're showing is showing unity in the industry, which is what we really need at this particular time. The horse racing industry in Ohio faces many challenges right now. We're playing on an uneven playing field with the industries in the surrounding states being subsidized by the alternative gaming. The Ohio State Racing Commission has a plan to even the playing field. The Commission plan is unlike those the voters have rejected in the past. The Commission plan is one that the state will operate, the state will own, and the state will take most of the money. But it will also go back to subsidize the horse racing industry, purses in Ohio, the racetracks, the horsemen. Thoroughbred fund, standardbred fund, and put us on an even playing field to where our purses can compete anywhere, where our breeders that are leaving the state and putting satellite breeding facilities in these other states to race for 4 or 5 times the money will come back to Ohio, and we'll become the #1 state in standardbred and one of the top states in thoroughbred again. We've lost, just at the Racing Commission over the past few years, over 4,000 licensees. That's direct jobs of people that aren't being licensed anymore. That doesn't go to the farmers, the truck makers, the tack makers, and everyone else involved in the industry. The county fairs, everything, the taxes, everything is going down because everybody is going to the surrounding states. Again, the Racing Commission cares about horse racing in Ohio. That's why they've come up with this plan. That's why the horse racing industry needs to back the Racing Commission plan, and we need to get it as soon as we can.